Welcome back, everybody, to Unconditional Surrender in Europe, game designed by Salvatore Vasta, published by GMT Games. We are in the Cripple the UK Collapse USSR campaign, affectionately known as the Cuckoo campaign, C.U.C.U. We are getting ready to go into May 1941, and the Russians caught a break on the weather table. The Germans managed to roll poor weather in the cold zone. I don't know if he's going to declare war on me or not, but we'll find out, and here we go. This was me. I forgot to move the city, seated area into my thing, and he chose not to declare war on me. So we just go into the economy phase. I think he knew he's going to get a political success, so I think he's trying to put one in Finland, and then I have to decide whether I'm going to try to. I could put a political success and a no event into the cup, and then I have a 1/3 chance of getting rid of the Finnish counter. 1/3 chance of getting a no event, 1/3 chance of just pulling his pro marker and not getting anything. So 2/3 that I wouldn't get anything and 1/3 that I would actually get something useful. So, and this is us doing the production all the way up to 8 with the British. I don't think he gave any to the Italians this turn. Get that off the turn. Not sure what we're doing. But through the economies. So strategic warfare, again, his +6 to my 0. Rolls an 11, so from 8 to 9, and I'm done. With factories, he strategically moves a Turkish garrison unit to cover that beach hex, which keeps me from landing and getting isolation on him in Kuwait, which kind of makes sense. I decide to move the guy in Southampton, because I'm thinking of putting the BF there. Did I move him? Oh no, I moved the guy that I had moved last turn into Birmingham, now I move him into Southampton. My thoughts are is I'm going to try and ship the Gibraltar out, put the BEF into Plymouth or something like that. I'm not sure. And then the Soviets pulled the guy that was back on the Duna and went ahead and put it into Kaunas. Since he didn't declare war on me, I figured, what the heck, I have another guy to build. So I might as well do something. And now we're into the action sub-phase. There's Turk up. Move the Italian up. I think he decided he didn't like that in a minute here. Italians, Germans. This guy goes up, grabs Trondheim. So all he has left to get is Narvak. Moved another garrison over towards going to help garrison northern Italy. And then he moved the garrison up to Naples. Now this was him deciding that that was not a good way to do that. He wanted to have the Turk there and the Italians on board. And now I spent 2, so I have 6 points left with the Brits. I picked this guy up. I said I'm escorting with Force H and taking him out with the convoy out of Gibraltar. And he decided he didn't want to have anything to do with it, so I moved into the Western Indian Ocean. And then, as a second move, I moved Force H back to Gibraltar, just leaving the convoys there. And I think that's where I stopped. Yeah. Soviets trying to brace for the June turn. Moving some guys into places where they belong. Where are we at? We're in placements for the Axis, so he just brings down his airplane, his fleets. Do you have something to build? So I went ahead and built the garrison unit in Western Indian Ocean. And saved 5 for diplomacy phase. And the Soviets got to build their armies. They pulled in Vilnius, and then we go into the. We knew the Axis was going to pull a pro-Axis marker, so they go ahead and put it in Finland. Now we know that all that's left here is a pro-Axis marker, so I tried to do something different. I'm trying to play the long game here. I could put in a political success and a no event and hope the Russians get a 1 in 3 chance of taking it out and taking Finland off the board. But considering that he has all these extra miners and he has a southern front anyway, which is drawn off one of my armies, I figured I'm probably going to end up getting collapsed again with Russia. I don't seem to be able to defend properly with them. So instead, with the British, I spent my 5 and I pulled their marker so that it's out of the cup. And then the Russians said, here's a no event and the political failure. So we put the political failure and a no event in. So now, if Germany knocks me down and say they go ahead and put in their unrestricted one, they put a pro marker in Spain, let's say. Well, now they only have a 1/3 chance of pulling their pro marker to get Spain in the war. And there's a 1/3 chance that they'll pull a political failure, which won't do us any good. So that was not a good thing to do. I should have put 2 no events in there. Oh well, I screwed that up. Because a political failure for the Germans doesn't hurt them. They don't. Oh, a political failure would activate French North Africa for me, which could possibly threaten the French. And even if he later pulls up the Spaniards, I have a possibility of taking Tangiers and being able to hold out on that side of Gibraltar, even if he manages to take Gibraltar from me. That's what that was for. So we'll just have to wait and see. We go to end of turn phase. I don't think we get a lot of things. And then we have the roll for the Russians. Will they come in anyway? I need to roll a 1, 2, or 3, and I'd come in the next turn. A 4, 5, or 6. It waits a turn. Or no, 1 through 3, it goes to the next turn. 4, 5, 6, it ends. So me being me, I always roll low. So off it went to July. And he gets to choose whether he comes after me in June or not. And that's going to depend on the weather die roll here. So get this stuff down, bring up the weather track, and the player 8 card. And he rolls a 6, 6, and a 4. 6, 6, and a 4. In June, where it was poor. A 6 is still poor in the cold, a 6 is still poor in the mild, and a 4 is still fair in the warm zone. So it stays exactly the same. So he was not a happy camper. He really wanted to have 4 straight 4 weather turns. He may still get them. He may get one in October, but he doesn't get one this turn. So we get into the declaration of war phase, and he goes, I'm declaring war on the Soviets. So poof, away goes the policy evaluation marker. We should be moving this next to the turn. Yeah. And the game will end in July of 1945. Okay. I didn't see any reason to declare war on anything. We go into economy phase. Oops, wrong card. So the Russians are at 30, the Germans are at 28. They don't give anything to their allies. The British should be at 8. There we go. Strategic warfare, 6 to 0. He rolls a 12, so it doesn't matter. I'm already at 9. And then his strategic movement is to move this Italian to there. Move Italian garrison up to just kind of hold some zones of control to try and isolate my guys. Which makes sense because he's only got poor weather. He wants to get the best attacks possible. Strategic move for the West. I don't think I had one. Strategic movement for the Soviets. don't think I had one. So now he's in his activation, he's in his subphase, so he's going to start moving things. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then he brings a German around this way to do an assault. He should be at plus... He's +2 for surrounding me. And then he's -1 for the city, -1 for the weather. So he's +2 to 0. I think we're at combat commitment. Yeah, we're at combat commitment. Neither one of us bothered. He attacks. It's 2 + 2 is a 4. I rolled a 5, so I didn't get flipped. Takes this armored up and attacks across the river. Does he attack across the river? No. It's that armored up. Attacks across the river. So he's +3, -3, so it should be 0 to 0 to start with. And combat commitment. We both committed because that's a kind of a crucial hex. I threw a tank, so he throws an airplane. So he's +1 and I'm +1. And he rolled a 2. 1 + 1 is a 2. I rolled a 2. A 1 + 1 is a 2. So, yuck. And forgot to take off my national will for him capturing Brest and a factory. So just readjusting that, and then brings an infantry in to attack at Canis. It should be the same thing it was too, +2 to 0. Combat commitment, but neither one of us bother. He gets a 3 + 2 is a 5. I get a 5, so he does it again with another infantry. This time, he did commit, and I did not. He finally decided he needed to throw, like, his airplane in there. And so he became +3 to 0. 3 + 6 + 3 is a 9. Can't roll any worse. I rolled a 2, which is a DD, so I flipped and treated, so I just eliminated. I'll lose a will point for the infantry and 2 points for the city and 1 factory. And then he has an Italian infantry in it. Go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This armored unit comes out and around 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm sorry, 6 to there, and then 7, 8 for the guy, 9, 10 for the city. So he's and he's +5 to start with. He starts off at +3, then he gets +2 for being me surrounded, then -1 for the guy, -1 for the weather, -1 for the city. So he's +3. Don't remember. Yeah, we're in combat commitment. Neither one of us committed. I thought for sure he was going to throw his airplane in there from down here in the south, but he chose not to. So, and he rolled a 2 + 3 is a 5, and I rolled a 4, so I stayed alive. And then infantry comes up and tries the same thing, +2 to 0. Don't think he throws an airplane. He rolled a 2 + 2 is a 4. I rolled a 3, so I stayed in the hex. He does it again. Rolls a 1 + 2 is a 3. I rolled a 2, so I held out at Villainous, so slowing him up, but I'm going to die next turn because it's going to be fair weather. So Villainous is gone. It just kept him from just running up, running up to the Duna or whatever. He's going to have to do that next turn. So move some points. And here comes the Yugoslavs, take the city and surround Cernati. Yugoslav moves in and attacks at +1 to 0, or 0 to 0 because he's +2 and then -2. He threw in a ground support, so he was +1, so he ended up with a total of 6. I had a 4, so I flipped. And then, not sure what he's doing next. This guy's activating. Yeah, he activates this infantry. So he's +4 -3, so he's +1 to my -2. And he rolled a grand total of 4, but my 4 -2 is a 2, so I'm eliminated. He takes the city. Then he has the Romanian move out. 1, 2, 3, 4. calls an assault, brings up an infantry, calls an assault. I don't think he assaults right away. I think he moves up some airplanes or something. Yeah, I threw a tank, he threw a tank, and a ground support. So he's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, -1, so he's +4 to my +1. Should be 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. He's a 3, 4, 5, -1. It should be +4. I don't know why he's +5. Oh, he threw in an airplane. I didn't see the airplane down here. Yeah, he threw in this airplane right here. So, yeah, +5 to +1. Rolls a 3 + 5 is an 8. I rolled a 2, so I retreated and flipped. Take that stuff off. He brings an infantry unit around this way. Thinks about it. Goes, maybe not. Oh, I'm hitting back. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This guy goes 1, 1, 2, 3, and then 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 to attack across. So I am isolated at that point. So he's +3 total. He actually should be. Did he throw in an airplane too? I think he threw in his airplane. Because he's 2 + 2 is 4, -1 for the -1 for the thing. He should be +2 to 0. Unless he throws in an airplane. I think he throws in an airplane here. Yeah, throws in an airplane, so he's +3 to 0. And he rolls a 2 + 3 is a 5. I rolled a 3, so I retreated, so it makes me flipped. And he goes, brings this infantry 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Barely makes the attack. Again, he's at +2 to my -2. I think he just did that. He rolled a 3, and I rolled a 3 -2 is a 1. So I couldn't hold the hex. I'm eliminated. Away I go. He takes that hex, and then the Africa army goes 1, 2, 3, 4. And then he was trying to think of, should he run all the way to Odessa, or should he just take Kishinev and trap those two armies? And he decided to take Kishinev, which is more willpower and another factory. And then he attacked, I think, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, he could attack that guy. Then it would cause me to retreat. So it's like +1 to my 0. I don't know what we were thinking about there. Anyway, he rolled a 1 + 1 is a 2. I rolled a 1, so neither one of us did anything. This is us counting. That's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. He's trying to make sure that he wasn't overspending his points. So he's at 16. I don't know what he does next. Doing an airplane attack. Oh no, he moves this Panzer up to attack the dude, because he's like +3 to my -2, or +2 to my -2 because of the weather. He rolls a 5, and I rolled a 4. -2 is a 2. So I just went ahead and retreated. I couldn't make up my mind where to retreat to. I decided to retreat to there. Flies this airplane up, because he can be in supply there, and then decides that I think he decided to fly the Italian airplane up and have it do its thing against the Russians. He rolled a 3, -3. And then at this point, we just round each other up. The first one was the only important one to see if you could get like a 6 or something, and he couldn't. So that Turk moves up, this Turk moves up, and then he doesn't do any attacks in the Caucasus because of the poor weather. He ends, and if you look at his national tracks, he has exactly 9 left. So he followed the rules, kept 9 left, so he can bring all of his airplanes back down to 0, or at least close to it, except for the Italians. Italians don't count. He supplies the armored unit, I think, is the only thing he supplies. Yeah, he let the guy in Kuwait go into low supply. And then he's activating the fins, and as he does that, before he even places fins, I have to place my 2 Russian armies. Then he places his fins. Yes. And now I get my 5 guys and my airplane, and we thought about this, and I said, my airplane should have been placed somewhere else, which we'll rectify here in a minute. I actually end up placing it in Tiflis. You'll see why in a second. And this is me just putting all my stuff, on the board where it belongs. Then the British take their turn. They go ahead and bring the Western Desert Force over here. This is me retreating. And basically, I'm just trying to slow him down. If you count, what I'm doing here is, this is just sort of a general Russian defense, and I don't know if it's right or not. But I look at his infantry, and it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. He can get 1 attack with an infantry there. So this guy's probably going to die. But he cannot get an infantry to attack here, and he cannot get an infantry to attack here. And he only has 1, 2 mobile units in the south. So if I can keep his infantry from only being, his infantry can attack like 1 unit maybe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, it's like he can attack 1 infantry unit. Which means his armor has to wait, hope that 1 attack from that infantry works. And if it doesn't, then one of these mobile units has to push through this river. And he can move to getting across the river, but he can't just kill Russians along the way. Maybe 1. Hopefully not, but maybe 1 there, okay? So that's why I'm moving the way I'm moving, in case somebody was interested. Couldn't think of, I didn't know if I wanted to go to Veliluki or that bend in the river, and again, I thought, bend in the river, because if he blows through Vilnius and here and he tries to run, he doesn't quite make it, doesn't have enough movement points to get across the Dnieper in force. He's probably going to break the Duna, so, because his whole army's up there. And then this is the cutesy. I have a Russian army, and this is where, because it's poor, I have to do this. If it had been fair in the mild zone, I would have gone, I go 1 there, but if it had been fair, I would have gone 1, 2, 3, 4 to attack this guy. And if I get him to retreat, he's got to retreat into Bulgaria. If he does, then I go 5, 6, 7 and make him have to come deal with me. Or if he retreats into Bucharest, which is the natural knee-jerk reaction thing to do, I'm here with 4, and then I can go 5, 6, 7, 8. But because it's poor weather, I can't get that off. So I just go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And what I did is I put myself out of reach, unless the Germans really want to make a major effort to go kill 1 ground unit. I'm just sitting back there. Right? And it's just annoying. I could have been more annoying, which I probably should have been. Thinking back on it, when I was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I could have gone here, just to kind of mess up any strategic movement or whatever. But I figured I'm just trying to get away. I'll go to no supply this turn. I'll be at low supply next turn and just come off and be able to be built without losing a will point. So it's effectively a kill for him, but he doesn't get the will point for it. So that's why I ran off to there. And this is where we talked about this, and I said, what I should have done is I should have placed this airplane down there and flown this one north. And he's like, go ahead. So I went ahead and put the airplane there and flew that one north for 2 sorties. He didn't have a problem with that because we're trying to figure out what the best defense against all this is, against this whole offensive situation. And we go into the no supply phase. Replacements for the Axis is very obvious. 3 airplanes. Italians bring down their airplane. I think they bring down their convoy. And I think we go into the west. I brought down a convoy. I think that's all I did. Soviets brought down airplanes. Flipped over their guy. And that's that. Mobilization for the Axis. I don't think they had anything. I don't think we have anything anymore. He doesn't have anything. I got lots to build. The Russians will have a little bit to build next turn. So, there, there. For the West, I went ahead and built an airplane in the Western Indian Ocean. I figured sooner or later I got to build up some threat to make him keep all these things in supply and, guarding the various ports and all that good stuff. And the Soviets didn't have anything, no diplomacy. Go to end of turn. And the good thing about the end of turn is that the Soviets get Urals factory. So even though they lost 3, they really only lost 2. So they'll be at 11 plus 1 is 12. They'll be at 24 next turn. British will still be at 8. And this is me getting back my Soviet tanks. Germans, I think, get back their tanks. I got an Ultra finally. Germans get their tanks, and we're into July of 1941. We know what the weather's going to be. Move things into the eliminated box. And I don't remember if I set the weather. And I think this is us talking about, I was like, if I could have marched to some of these cities, then I would have. And then we're done. So we were counting factories that he took too. So I was making sure it was right. It was 5 cities. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cities, 3 factories, and 3 dead guys. So I lost 13 in the first round. So, and that's where I'm at. I'm at 84. And I expect that I'm probably going to lose something along the lines of about 15 in the next round from cities lost and, probably 4 or 5 units killed. For the Germans, they want to average 5 a turn in fair weather, at least. And for the Soviets, you want to average 4 or less in every fair weather turn, preferably 3, and just keep running away. But at some point, you can't run any farther. You have to stop, because if you have too many cities too fast, then it's just a matter of them grinding you out in 1942, which they can do. So you have to kind of give yourself some place to do something in the winter, and you have to have some sort of base of operations. Anyway, that's the end of May and June. Horrible weather for the Germans. They still managed to launch Barbarossa in June and made some pretty good headway. Poised to break across the Dnieper, both north and south, and the Duna. So we're going to see if I can figure out a way to defend the Russians and actually stay in the war. Every game I've played, especially online here, when I've been showing you guys things, if I'm the Allies, the Russians are getting collapsed. And if I'm the Germans, I'm not able to collapse the Russians. So, due to the, verities like Italy going into the West or whatever. So, as always, I'm Jun41. If you like my videos, please subscribe. Hit the like button so that the algorithms in YouTube will keep this up for other people to find when they come looking for unconditional surrender videos. And until we meet again, stay safe and bye-bye.